But now we're in a time of truth being revealed, and people are questioning everything now. After the whole fiasco, that woke a lot of people up. So there was a good side to that, in my opinion. And one of my philosophies in life is to look for the good in all things. A lot of times when we think we're having a problem or we have some adversity and we think, oh, this is bad, it's really actually in the long run a good thing for us because it's teaching us something. And once I started looking at things that way, my adversities didn't seem so bad anymore. All right, friends, what should we talk about today? More on my carnivore journey. I'm doing well. I'm holding at my current weight, and so I'm not going down. I hadn't been working out for a while, and then I started working out. Wow, look at that sunset. Beautiful. Let's go over there and take a look at that. Let's get that in the background. Hope everybody's doing well. Checking in on my carnivore journey. Beautiful sunset behind me there. And the gnats are out. So I should have done this inside, I guess. But the weather's been nice, and so the bugs are starting to come out of hiding here. Anyways, so I guess I'm gonna have to make this short and sweet. So I'm holding at my current weight, feeling better, feeling good. Although I have been dealing with a lack of energy the last several days. Except yesterday and today I was doing pretty well. And so I'm also dealing with foot and ankle cramps in the mornings when I wake up. And so I've been working to resolve that. And I've adjusted my electrolytes, of course. Started doing some stretching before bed. All of that has helped some, but it hasn't really resolved the issue. And part of it is I'm probably still healing in my older age. And it may take a while to resolve completely, but one of the things I'm trying is homemade natural quinine. Now, if you Google that, it'll say you can't make homemade natural quinine, or if you do, it will tell you to use a certain kind of bark from the cochin tree. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right or if I pronouncing the name right. But supposedly that has some dangers, not serious, but some problems. And so what I am doing is considered a natural quinine by many, and or hydroxychloroquine, and Google will tell you the same darn thing. If you grok it, Grok will be more open-minded about it. And so I've been drinking that at night, and it has helped some so far, but I'm going to give it a couple of weeks. And I've been drinking it for about 3 days. I have a couple ounces at night before I go to bed. And my cramps have been milder in the morning. And it's usually when I stretch. I wake up 4 or 5 in the morning and stretch a little bit, just naturally to get the blood back into your nether parts. And my feet will cramp when I do that. And so if I get up and stand up, then it goes away. But I don't want to have to get up. I want to sleep some more. So I'll let you know how that goes. I haven't been taking the L-Reuteri yogurt or the L-Gasserai yogurt since my constipation, as that was considered a possibility contributing to that. I may start that up again, but so far I'm doing well without it. And so that's just part of doing this. So many people quit the first time they run into any kind of problem. And they say, oh, carnivore doesn't work for me. But carnivore can work for everybody. Wow, these bugs are driving me crazy. I think I'm going to go inside. All right, so back in the house. The gnats are driving me crazy. I may have to edit some of that out. We'll see what happens. But anyways, so that's what I was doing for my foot cramps. For my low energy, I've adjusted some things, and I started taking iodine, and I have felt better the last few days. And so I may be lacking iodine. And so those are just different things that you can try, and that's stuff that I learned from my own research and listening to videos, Dr. Berry. And Dr. Boz especially talks about iodine quite a bit on a keto diet. And, most of the things for a keto apply to carnivore also. Carnivore is the most strictest ketogenic diet. So that's the point. That's the thing. You got to just keep moving forward. The benefits far outweigh the hiccups here and there. And so I'm just trying to be real that, it's not all always unicorns and candy canes and fairy tales and stuff. So stay the course and keep moving forward. One foot in front of the other, as they say. I want to talk a little bit about people who think who still think carnivore is bad for you. And they're going off of old information. I like to say, the 80s called and they want their misinformation back. The carnivore doctors, Dr. Berry, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Sean Baker, Dr. Westman, and several other doctors are the cutting edge for a new health paradigm. All the seed oils and the carbohydrates and the sugar, all carbohydrates turn to sugar in the body. And sugar is addictive. People will say stuff like, well, I couldn't stop eating my sourdough toast in the morning, or whatever it is, Well, that's the carbs talking, To take it to the extreme, yeah, a heroin addict knows they need to quit, get off the heroin, but they can't live without it. They enjoy it. So, not judging anybody. Everybody can choose to eat however they want. We were all raised, with the standard American diet pretty much. And I ate that way for years. And I'm paying the price in my older age. And all the things that we attribute to older age are caused by a lifetime of a carb-centric diet, in my opinion. And many of the doctors will back that up. There isn't a bunch of science, but there is some science. And, but people say, oh, there's only anecdotal evidence. Well, when thousands and thousands of people are being healed of just about every disease under the sun, something's going on, folks. It ain't just, a few here and there that are claiming, oh, I got healed by doing this or that. I've had people say, well, I was a vegan and I healed this by being a vegan. It's like, okay, fine, that's great. If it worked for you, more power to you. But those are truly anecdotal onesies and twosies here and there. Carnivore has thousands of people. If you watch the videos and read the comments, or you can get on the forums on Facebook and so on, there's a lot to it. And so I would encourage anybody, if you're having any kind of problems, you have any kind of diseases, look into carnivore. At least look into it. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research, of course. And I think we're entering an age of truth where a lot of things are being exposed. And a lot of the things that we were taught about diet and exercise and also, politics, religion, everything else is all being exposed as lies. Now, a lot of people that spread those lies, including myself and some things, didn't know any better. So, I'm not saying that people were maliciously doing that. Some were, maybe some at the top were, so to speak. But most people just didn't know any better, just doing what they were taught. But now we're in a time of truth being revealed, and people are questioning everything now. After the whole fiasco, that woke a lot of people up. So there was a good side to that, in my opinion. And one of my philosophies in life is to look for the good in all things. A lot of times when we think we're having a problem or we have some adversity and we think, oh, this is bad, it's really actually in the long run a good thing for us because it's teaching us something. And once I started looking at things that way, my adversities didn't seem so bad anymore. And so I would encourage you to do that. Look for the good in all things. You know, I know when you're in the swamp up to your neck in alligators, it's kind of hard to see the good in that. I said that to somebody one time and they said, well, first of all, you're still alive. And I said, yep, that's the spirit. So, and if you survive that, you're going to be stronger and more wise because of it. Like maybe not going into the swamp anymore. So, but you have to focus on that. Our culture is more focused on negative and we complain about everything. Oh, this is bad. That's bad. These politicians did this. This happened, you know, and so on. They say trouble comes in bunches, right? And that's because you get negative about it and then something else happens. And then you get negative about that, something else happens. You're like, why me? You know, that type of thing. But if you change your attitude and go, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this? And I'm not saying it's easy after a lifetime of a habit of, you know, complaining and moaning and groaning when something goes wrong or doesn't go the way you think it should. Something to think about, my friends. Something to think about. All right. So again, I'm holding, doing good. Everything's fine with me. Had a few hiccups here and there, working it out. Losing weight. Body is still readjusting, even though I haven't lost weight in the last week, which is fine. I'm not doing this to lose weight. I'm doing this to heal and to reorganize and reconstitute my body into a more healthy life. And it's working. It's working, my friends. All right. I hope everybody's doing well. Have a good evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you're at watching this. Peace out.